and on the subject of these created and agreed to gods of man, all of which are reptilian, and all present as overseers of their respective life level positions, from the astral, the causal, mental, to the etheric, with the supreme deceptor who resides in this final life level. As reptilians, these so-called gods are master shapeshifters and can assume whatever form is required to keep you in creation, to get your agreement, to limit yourself to creation, in other words, as the deciders of our experience. Not even a self-proclaimed God of a life level can impose upon us without our agreement to the imposition, agreement to the individual's power over us. These reptilian gods may present as mighty bearded men who look every bit like the Charlton Heston standard depictions of the accepted upon appearance of the Christian God, or as any other god of all the myriad invented reptilian religions, or as spiritual type characters in accordance to the spiritual created idea an individual passing into the realms of these reptilian gods holds dear. But to see the Kalaum God as he actually is, you would indeed perceive a huge three-headed lizard man, and yes, his decided function is to keep everyone in creation and maintaining agreement to his position of dominance over the created consciousness of the physical, astral, and mental levels, and in keeping with the utilizing of the two sides of his being, the benevolent and malevolent, he will feature on the real side experiences of any individual who decides to begin to become more aware, those that make the first tentative steps into the unknown of the isness, beyond the limitation of the creational simulators and their personal self-bubbles of restricted experience. he will feature as an intimidation tactic generally. For the very first night I sang the new you, I would receive an ominous presence in my bedroom, a large sinister being dressed in black, his face concealed as though behind a mask. A visit from the Kalaum, quite possibly. The Kalaum and his dark force agents will directly interfere with new friends less and less as their increasing real awareness affords them greater protection, with greater cause and effect repercussions for those who attack such individuals, as real awareness is aside from creation, an individual standing ever more so in their real awareness will be beyond the potentiality of a cause and effect attack that would be consistent for those standing in their personal self-awareness only. For the personal self is programmed into agreement to the control of the reptilians. The potentiality then for this agreement to be taken advantage of at any time, as we effectively almost offer ourselves up on a plate to be subjected to the whims of the world controllers at any given moment, due largely to the subconscious agreements that we have to their power over us. To step into the real awareness more so is stepping beyond these potential, ever-present attack opportunities through the personal self, and of course the path to a complete real standing with the ears of utter protection from standing completely in our real awareness is a process, so the real guides are on hand to assist and protect us where necessary. On occasion, they will let situations play out as they are situations of our own making, as everything is, as the deciders of our experience, which includes the individuals we allow in them, even the attacks we receive are due to agreement that allowed the attack to occur, and so we better learn and recognize what we are agreeing to when we have to constantly deal with the fallout. I used to have endless attacks by entities for this very reason. My astral projection activities cause and effected portals that allowed such beings the opportunity to feature in my experience. I even had an entity that was a childhood invisible friend, and it would return 35 years later in recent times, as agreement to its presence had been retained. The guides allowed the entity to feature, that I could recognize it and recognize its origins from my childhood, as the guides would reveal this invisible friend to be this very entity, an invisible friend I had completely forgotten about. And then it was a case of simply deciding to redact agreement, and this entity could no longer feature in my life and experience. And sometimes the real guides allow attacks to occur, so that the attackers have played their hand. They have stepped into a karma of their own making, and now leverage can be wielded to regulate their behaviors. A leverage that wouldn't be available had the attack not occurred, to the extent that the dark force assailants are given options to assist Dwayne and the guides, or be thrown into the phantom zone due to the karmic debt accrued through attacking a new friend, as an example. The phantom zone being a place that is even a lesser position than the worst areas of creation, a place where an individual cannot even create, but remains in a darkness, a kind of void, for an adjustment period, earned through extreme abrasive behavior toward others. Cause and effect surely exacts all justice throughout the simulators. You can't get away with anything. The effects of what you have decided will show up eventually.